Welcome to Science Snippets, a video series by agents of change in environmental justice. Here, we talk to researchers and fellows about their work, and today we'll be hearing from Dana Williamson, an environmental health fellow at the US EPA. In her dissertation research, she studies the outcomes of the EPA's Environmental Justice Academy, where leaders and activists learn how to best address local environmental justice concerns, and assesses how the Academy can best educate those leaders and enhance their skills.
So my dissertation research was broadly related to community capacity building and environmental justice. And so when I use the term community capacity, I'm really referring to this asset-based approach that focuses on community strengths, like the specific characteristics in a community that can be leveraged to address EJ inequities, that really centers on leadership development and skills development, empowerment, aligning values and partnership. And these are really the things that require collaboration, that are really instrumental, that I believe, in creating the policy systems and environmental changes that are needed in EJ communities. So one of the most significant, or what I feel is the most impactful components of my work, was the evaluation of the US EPA's Environmental Justice Academy. This was a phenomenal leadership development program out of Region 4 in Atlanta, Georgia. And so the Academy attracted EJ community organizers and students and activists and other professionals and academic advocates, and that focused on really teaching those skills to support collaborative problem solving, which is somewhat learning how to work with the folks that you don't always see eye to eye with, but also learning how to develop partnerships and work with community stakeholders. So my findings were somewhat twofold. Essentially, there were two types of activists and advocates that participated in the Academy. There were those that were more novice and at the beginning stages of their advocacy, really needing to understand how to develop partnerships and understanding how to better understand what the EJ issues were in their communities and actually learn to talk about them. And then there were others that were more deeply seated in the EJ world. And so through their participation in the Academy, it really helped them to further leverage their partnerships and create the actual community environmental and structural change that was needed. So those that were more novices became more equipped with understanding the EJ issues in their community and the importance of partnership. And those that were more deeply seated in the EJ world actually were able to leverage their partnerships and actually move the needle towards impacting the community change that they needed. So at the policy level, there was one really outstanding example from a community that would really be not very meaningful or maybe important to the average person, but for this community, it was significant. So specifically, as a result of the EJ project that was implemented, one of the participants were able to install a stop sign. And while a stop sign really may not be meaningful for us in our everyday lives, this particular stop sign for this particular community really helped to reduce or curtail some of the excessive tractor trailer traffic that was going through the community. It was also adjacent to a school, and so there were children that were breathing excessive pollution from the idling of these large tractor trailers. And so by implementing a stop sign, it actually helped to deter some of that traffic. And that was a small policy win for that particular community. On a systems change level, as a result of those that were able to leverage partnership, there was actually a large coalition that was developed at one community where it was 7 different communities that were able to come together to problem solve with one another and to build more of a united front in addressing their environmental justice concerns. And at the environmental change level, there were multiple examples of even a garden where a community was able to further develop a parking lot that was previously an eyesore, but they turned it into a community garden so that it not only benefited them, but they were living also in a food desert community where there weren't really much access to fresh fruits and vegetables. And so by implementing even a small garden in a community that did not have necessarily all of the resources was very impactful for them. So working with the EJ Academy and shining a bright light on the impacts of this program can really help to shift the work of others that are doing environmental health or environmental justice aligned work, like in the federal government, through nonprofit organizations, and even academic research projects. It really helps to shift to maybe an understanding of the importance of centering on community needs and enhancing the community and providing skills development. And so with this work, I'm really trying to create a greater understanding of how the program or how a program like the EJ Academy can help build community resilience, as well as teach strategies to enhance a community's capacity to address their concerns. And again, I focus on capacity part because many of the communities that are experiencing these injustices are also the ones that really have been forgotten about or tossed to the side. They're overburdened with a lack of power and a lack of resources, and even a lack of control in the decision-making process that ultimately impacts their life and the impacts of their health. And so my charge is focusing on the aspects of environmental justice that really relate to having access and participation in decision-making, and really enhancing the capacity with respect to knowledge and skills and building power for a community to be able to move towards resolving their own issues.